Part 122. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1211. Feng Qingxiu sighed slightly in her heart. Except for families who don't want children, not having children is a shortcoming for most people. Sister Tian, I'll take your pulse, but I have to tell you in advance that if there is a fertility problem, it will be half and half due to men and women, and it may not be your fault, Feng Qingxiu said seriously. Tianling groaned, her face full of confusion. Feng Qingxiu simply explained the meaning, you have given birth before, which means there was no problem with your fertility before. Now you have to take your pulse to know. And because Chinese medicine only relies on the 4 items of sight, hearing, asking, and cutting, it cannot detect some physical symptoms. There are problems with the structure of the organs, so the results may not be very accurate. Tianling didn't understand what she meant, but she knew that her couple had no children. The reason may be due to herself or Zhou Ran. I have given birth to children before, which means that Lao Zhou is fine. How can a person not get sick if he eats whole grains? The human body will undergo many changes, including injuries, colds, heat, disorders of the internal organs, etc., which will lead to different conclusions. Moreover, Comrade Warren is a border guard and will not be injured less. Who said that men and women who have given birth to children will not have fertility problems again? Feng Qingxiu had a distant cousin in her previous life. She got married and gave birth to a son when she was 20 years old. Later she wanted to have a second child, but after more than a year of trying to get pregnant, there was no good news. At the last check, she found out that she had polycystic ovary syndrome and was not ovulating. That cousin was very thin, and she had been undergoing treatment for a long time. All methods were tried, but nothing was cured. Tianling lowered her head and thought for a while, please feel my pulse first. Feng Qingxiu pressed her stretched out wrist and said after a moment, I have prepared menstruation pills before. I will give them to you to eat first. There is nothing wrong with Tianling's body, but she is older and her energy and blood are not as strong as those of young people. The so-called menstruation pills were bought by Feng Qingxiu in Hong Kong in her previous life. They were also called Shenzi pills. They were very popular, but the effect was really good. Feng Qingxiu went to open the box, immersed herself in it, unpacked the boxes and bottles, poured them all into a glass bottle, and took them out to Tianling. I don't know Comrade Zhou Ran's physical condition, but I can tell you that in terms of traditional Chinese medicine, there's nothing wrong with your body, it's just that your menstrual period is not accurate. You should pay attention to it and don't be greedy. Tianling held the glass bottle tightly. Thank you Qingxiu, thank you. If I still can't do it after taking the medicine, I will bring Warren over one day and you can take his pulse. It's just for a physical check, not a fertility check. He reacts faster than Bai Shui and makes decisions more decisively. What else could Feng Qingxiu do besides nod? She understands Tianling's eagerness to have a child and hopes that she can get her wish. Tianling is loyal and honest, and she usually does her duty. Feng Qingxiu likes her very much. The family has been busy recently, and Tianling has really helped them a lot and relieved a lot of their burdens. On this day, she finished cooking dinner again and left after Lu Zhang came back. Dad is here, Lu Zhang said to Feng Qingxiu. Feng Qingxiu groaned, when will it arrive? When did you receive the letter? I just received the telegram. I calculated the time and it will arrive around the end of the month. Lu Zhang was taking a break that day. He didn't stick to his job like others. He took Zibao with him and asked Zhou Rong to drive to pick up Lu's father. Zibao has sharp eyes. As soon as he arrived at the entrance of the train station, he saw Father Lu from a distance. Grandpa, Grandpa, Zibao jumped up and down and waved to him, waving as he rushed over. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1212. Father Lu unloaded the luggage on his shoulders and held his little grandson, no, his precious grandson in his arms. "Oh, my little Zbao, I haven't seen Grandpa in almost a year. Do you miss Grandpa? Grandpa misses you so much." "Grandpa, I miss you so much." Zbao's mouth felt like it was covered with honey. "I have a younger brother, and I am no longer little Zbao." Okay, you are a happy baby, but you are still Grandpa's precious grandson." Zbao smiled happily. "Am I Grandpa's baby?" Of course, Grandpa likes Zbao the most. It was Zbao who really allowed Father Lu to enjoy the joy of making babies, and his status in Father Lu's heart was naturally very different. Zbao was particularly excited. "I also like Grandpa the most. Apart from his parents, he likes his grandpa the most. There is nothing wrong with him." Zbao nodded his head carefully. When the grandfather and grandson had enough intimacy, Lu Zhang, who was carrying the luggage bag, smiled and said, "Dad, let's get in the car and go back now. We will be home in the evening. King Xu has already asked Sister Tian to clean the room and the bedding has been dried." When they got to the car, Zbao snuggled into Father Lu's arms. "Grandpa, my brother is sick and my mother is sick." Zbao is very sad. Before Lu Zhang could stop him, Zbao told Lu's father like he was pouring beans out of a bamboo tube, "Mom and Dad haven't come back for several days. I'm scared." When Father Lu heard this, he looked at Lu Zhang sternly. "Why didn't I see your letter? Did it happen after Guancheng and the others left?" "Dad, it's okay now." Lu Zhang didn't want to tell the old man that Zhuang was hospitalized and critically ill, lest the old man be worried. This was what Feng Qingxiu meant. For them, it was enough for Zhuang to gradually improve. Say, Father Lu didn't believe his son's words and didn't come home for several days. He must have been hospitalized. Facing Yan's father, Lu Zhang immediately sat up straight and spoke briefly, skipping the matter of Zhuang's critical illness. Lu Zhang was sitting in the passenger seat and was so angry that Lu's father patted him on the shoulder from behind. "You still want to hide such a big thing from me? Don't you think I won't find out about the triplets when I see them, the fact that two brothers are weak? No one knows more about a son than a father. If his son didn't tell him, wouldn't he be able to guess Zhuang's details?" Zbao took Lu's father's hand and said, "Grandpa, don't hit Dad, I will feel sorry for him." "Your father is disobedient, why do you feel sorry for him?" Father Lu glared at his son angrily. Zbao rolled his eyes and said, "Grandpa, I feel sorry for you. If you hit Dad, your hands will hurt. Dad's flesh is so hard. I bit him in anger and almost broke my teeth." What a smart boy. Zhou Rong thought to himself, no wonder everyone said that the smartest among children is Zbao. Sometimes he takes Zbao out to play, and Zbao is very good at gathering the children in the family compound who are not in school to do military exercises, which seems to be the same. Father Lu slowly calmed down. 11 Bao is still obedient. Lu Zhang smiled helplessly and did not dare to look back, fearing that his helpless expression would be seen by his father. He is already 60 years old, how can he be so angry? Tisk. Lu Zhang did not dare to say these words, otherwise he would get more than one slap from his father. He only asked Zhou Rong to stop the car when it was time to eat. Everyone had a lunch of dry food and water, and then continued on the road, paying great attention during this period. In the case of Father Lu, we found that the old man was in good health and had no adverse reactions due to entering the plateau area. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1213. How could Father Lu not guess what his son was thinking? I wish I could roll my eyes. Worried that he had set a bad example for his grandson, Father Lu suppressed his desire to beat his son and said, "There are Tibetan medicinal materials such as rhodiola left by Zioxiu at home. When I came, Guancheng specially gave them to me. Bring some water to drink." After Lu Zhang heard this, he suddenly realized. King Xiu is still thoughtful, he didn't even know this. No wonder his family behaved well when they came here. Father Lu didn't want to talk to him, so he lowered his head and continued to make out with Zibao. "Grandpa, have you received my handwriting? My handwriting is very good. Everyone praises me. I corrected all the mistakes I made." After talking, Zibao mentioned his great achievements. "I can let's draw, Grandpa. My mother taught me. My father is too stupid. He can't draw and said that what I drew was a toad." "Then what are you painting?" Father Lu asked. Zibao straightened his chest and said loudly, "Big horse, the big horse I drew." "Grandpa, there are many big horses in the army, as well as many cows, yaks, and many sheep grazing," he pointed. Outside the window. At this time, the car was driving on a grassland with vast green fields, cattle and sheep everywhere, and occasionally some hidden bags could be seen. The sky is blue, the fields are vast, and the grass is blown by the wind and you can see cattle and sheep. Father Lu finally saw the scene described in this poem and was very happy. However, when he saw Feng Qingxiu and Zhuang Chuang, one looked sick and the other was frail. He felt extremely distressed and asked, "Why did Ajiang take care of you too? Look how thin you are. How can I explain this to your uncle? Ajiang has taken very good care of her. She just gave birth to triplets and lost both energy and blood. She is recovering and will be fine soon." Feng Qingxiu couldn't bear to let her husband get scolded. "It's been a train ride all the way. Please sit down quickly. Have a rest, Ajiang, and get some water for Dad." Father Lu instructed, "If you have any good tonics, use them all for yourself. If you do well, then the children will follow suit. Dad, don't worry, I'm not treating myself badly. When Tianling was here, she didn't eat anything good on the surface. In fact, Lu Zhang stewed tonics for himself every night. He used all the tonics he bought in his previous life. He cooked it in different ways every day, stewed it out in the middle of the night and put it into the space. He ate it before Tianling arrived in the morning, and ate it behind Tianling's back during the day, so Tianling didn't notice any clues." Father Lu was relieved a little and looked down at Zhuang in his arms. He couldn't help but feel distressed again. "How about Zhuang? I think he is a lot thinner than his two brothers, and his face is pitifully small. How fat are the two little grandsons who are playing with rattles on the Kong? It's almost the same as when Zibao was a child. Raise him slowly and be careful. It will be fine when he grows up." "Don't worry, Dad." Feng Qingxiu said this, but she was unsure in her heart. Zhuang is too young. Whether it is good or not, we have to wait until he is older. Just known. Father Lu tightened his arms. "Well, you have to take good care of yourself. I heard Ajiang said that you have retired from the army." Feng Qingxiu hummed. "Thank you for your hard work, Zioxiu." Father Lu knew very well the reason why Feng Qingxiu retired from the army. After hearing this, Feng Qingxiu couldn't help but smile. "Look what you said, Dad, what do I have to do so hard? When Ajiang was not at home, he hired Sister Tian to help, and I didn't even have to ask him to do the laundry and cooking. It's Ajiang who has worked so hard. He has to support our whole family with his own salary subsidy, and the burden on his shoulders is not light. It's okay, he is a man, and it is natural for men to support their families." Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1214. When Zibao heard this, his wrinkled little face turned into a dumpling. Grandpa, I also have to support my grandfather and my mother, my brother and my sister, But I don't have a salary, so am I still a man? He rummaged through his pockets, empty. I don't have any money to buy candy, so I just buy milk powder for my brother. After hearing this, Father Lu saw his depressed expression and hurriedly comforted him. You are a young man, and you can make money only by becoming a grown man. Zibao breathed a sigh of relief and patted his chest. It's better that I didn't turn into a little girl. I don't know how he understood it. However, a few words made everyone laugh. Hearing the laughter of the adults, the infant Zhuang also grinned. Lu Zhang looked around the room, but did not see Feng Qingyun. Where is Xiaoun? Zhang is resting, shouldn't Xiaoun be at home? Xiaoun went out to play. She said she would buy me Kuakuo when she came back, but I don't want Kuakuo. Fu Bao held his cheek and looked at his brother on the left and his brother on the right. His mother was afraid of the little bad guy, so she took them, put it on both sides of her and let herself look at her brother, so she felt that she was great and a hero. Upon hearing this, Father Lu knew that Feng Qingyun might have gone out to perform with the art troupe, so he asked his granddaughter, if you don't want Kuakuo, what do you want? Grandpa will buy it for you. Fu Bao showed his white teeth and said, I want to wear a necklace and a hairpin, but my mother won't allow it. Yes, you can't wear it. Father Lu did not indulge his granddaughter just because she wanted to. After handing Zhuang to his daughter-in-law, he sat on the Kong and whispered to his granddaughter, there are many bad people outside who will steal your necklace and send a card because you are too young. When you grow up and have strength, no one will dare to snatch it away. Mom will definitely give you many beautiful things. Are you as big as your brother? Fu Bao looked up at 11 Bao. Zibao puffed out her chest and said, yes, as big as me. Then I want to eat well, eat a lot of food, and grow up quickly. Lu Zhang cooked the food in the evening, and Feng Qingxiu brought some ingredients from the space. When the smart Zibao asked them, they said that Grandpa brought them, and they quickly fooled him. Father Lu smiled and said, you have people here to help. I'm worried that it will be inconvenient for you. I brought a lot of things this time. What's inconvenient? It is definitely inconvenient to open a small stove. Most people cook without oil or salt, but Father Lu has tasted it and has been eating it for many years, so he took the lead in filling a jar with a sack. It looked bulging, and with the luggage bag, it seemed that he had brought a lot of things, but it was actually quite big. Parts are empty shells. After dinner, Lu's father took care of his grandchildren in the house, while Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu dealt with the things that Lu's father brought. Pour oil into the empty jar and fill the jar with peanut oil. Father Lu brought a bag of shelled peanuts, and the couple doubled them several times. Dried vegetables, bacon, air-dried chicken, and other things followed the gourd and were multiplied several times. In addition, some coarse and fine grains such as rice, white flour, cornmeal, and wheat bran were taken out and put in the corner according to their categories. Just put it in the cupboard. After cleaning up, Feng Qingxiu returned to the house and asked, Dad, do Hu Ping and the others still send special products to our family? Yes, Hu Ping said in the letter that after they catch prey, they can eat and drink as much as they want during the New Year and festivals. They only eat meat once every 10 days and a half. There is nothing they can do. They are afraid that the neighbors and villagers will say that they live a luxurious life. It would be terrible if you were caught secretly selling it, but you wouldn't get much money if you sold it openly, so I sent it to my comrades in various places, and all the money I sent them was returned. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1215. At this point, Father Lu added, Hu Ping said that the land there is fertile, and their harvests in recent years have been better than ours. The grain output is high, and there is no shortage of food now. Of course, the lack of food is limited to the fact that there is no shortage of food. Whether or not you can eat enough is another matter. The adults in the Wanglu Brigade are allocated 450 kilograms of gross grain a year, which means there is no shortage of food to the outside world. However, in the absence of non-staple food, for an adult, 450 kilograms of gross grain is just food. Not full. Feng Qingxiu said to Lu Zhang without hesitation, "Don't forget to buy some high-priced goods and send them to Hu Ping and the others when you have time. Favors, come and go, last forever." Lu Zhang nodded, but saw his father going through his suitcase containing clothes. "Dad, what are you looking for?" "I received something from Comrade Hu Ping years ago, and I immediately replied to him, asking him to secretly collect a few wild ginseng for us. He didn't have any, so I asked the local folks if they had any, and they would send them to me at the beginning of this month. I brought it here for you." He found a red cloth bag and handed it to his son, and then lowered his voice and said, "You said before that Xiaoxiu was pregnant with twins. I think the birth of twins will definitely weaken the vitality. Buy some ginseng tonic." How to use ginseng, Xiaoxiu knows better than me. Hu Ping he didn't have it in hand, so he asked a fellow villager to collect it privately. They wanted money, and it was a total of 300 yuan. I sent it to him before I got in the car. Feng Qingxiu carried the child on her back, opened it, and her eyes widened. 7 taels are ginseng and 8 taels are treasures. "Dad, these 2 ginsengs you brought are treasures, they are more valuable than what I got from Hu Ping before." "Good, the condition is complete, which shows that the owner has good craftsmanship." Father Lu smiled slightly, "I have to thank Comrade Hu Ping. It's time to thank him, thank you very much." Although Feng Qingxiu bought a lot of tonics in her previous life, she was short of ginseng because she knew she couldn't buy authentic wild ginseng at all, so she bought a few boxes of Korean ginseng. The ginseng of this era is definitely wild and priceless. Feng Qingxiu tucked herself into the space like a baby. When the old people and children were asleep, she pulled out a few ginseng tendrils and let Lu Zhang stew chicken soup. Simmer for several hours, put it away, and save it for eating meat and soup the next day. Tianling comes here on time every day to wash clothes, cook, clean up the room and take care of the children, but she never eats at the Lu family, even if Feng Qingxiu stays with her, so she always goes to the Lu family after eating in the morning, makes meals at noon, and eats at home by herself. Come back after dinner, make dinner before leaving. While cooking, she was surprised to find a lot of things in the cabinet, most of which were scarce supplies. Peanut oil, peanuts, white flour, and bacon. Dried chicken. My father-in-law brought it from his hometown. He saved it for a long time. It was also because our relatives, friends, and comrades cared about us. You and I made it up bit by bit, Feng Qingxiu explained to her with a smile. Let's stir-fry bacon at noon, don't be reluctant to part with it. Put the oil. If there was anything Tianling did that made Feng Qingxiu feel helpless, it was definitely cooking, and she really couldn't bear to put in an extra drop of oil. Now that there is a jar of oil at home, Tianling should be more generous, right? Unexpectedly, Tianling glanced at Feng Qingxiu. Like a prodigal, there is a lot of oil in the bacon. If you fry it in a pan with some oil, half the oil will come out. Why do you need to put more oil? Not only did she not add more oil, she also poured out most of the oil from the bacon and put it into a bowl for cooking next time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1216. Dad, are you coming here to take Zibao back? While eating, Feng Qingxiu finally remembered to ask Father Lu. She still remembered clearly what she said before returning last year. When Zibao heard his mother calling his name, he raised his head from the rice bowl, with rice on the corner of his mouth, and suddenly his big black and white eyes flashed. Grandpa missed me. It means that Grandpa came to see me because he missed me. Father Lu glanced at him, pursed his lips and smiled. Zibao, would you like to stay with Grandpa for a while? The grandparents at home all miss you and are urging Grandpa to come and take you home. Ah, Zibao opened his mouth wide. He is not Fubao, so of course he understands what Grandpa said. Immediately, he turned to look at Feng Qingxiu. Mom, Grandpa will take us home. He rolled his eyes and said this. Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, Zibao, you are so smart, how can you not understand what Grandpa said? Grandpa is here to take you home, and Mom and younger siblings are here to accompany Dad. Zibao's brows suddenly furrowed. A family, stay together, never separate. Feng Qingxiu's heart moved after hearing this. This sentence sounds familiar. It seems that I said it to my children after I retired from the army. The original words are as follows: Mom will no longer work. She will be at home with Zibao and Zibao's younger siblings every day. Before you grow up, we will a family together, never separated. But a large group of grandparents miss you and want to see you, Feng Qingxiu said seriously. Zibao relaxed his brows, put down his chopsticks, and stretched out 2 fingers of his right hand. I'm very smart, I have a solution. Father Lu asked him what he could do, and he said happily, bring all the grandparents here, take the train, woohoo. What's the other way? Father Lu held back his laughter. Grandpa picked up his parents, brothers, and sisters, and Zibao, now we are together. Zibao once again affirmed his intelligence. Everyone was right to praise him. Feng Qingxiu was very interested in chatting with her son. Dad has to work, and Mom has to take care of her brother. My brother is young and can't go out. Zibao groaned, and his eyebrows instantly turned into an inverted eyebrow. Father Lu laughed for a while and said seriously, Zibao, Grandpa told you that Grandpa will take you home to live for a while, and then send you back to your parents and brothers and sisters after a while. You are still a family. Live together, not separate. You see, Grandpa has been separated from you for so long. Grandpa misses you so much that he can't live with your parents, let alone that large group of grandparents who can't come over. Your dad needs to work and can't be home forever. Zibao thought for a moment and finally understood the meaning of his words. Is it really not possible? We are obviously a family. There are many children who don't live with their parents. Zibao, have you forgotten? Brother Gongzi hasn't lived with his parents for a long time. Brother Zhao Xiaoun has never been here. He came here with brother Guancheng. Hearing Feng Qingxiu's words, Zibao suddenly jumped up. Ah, brother Xiaoun. The movement came so suddenly that he almost knocked over the bowl in his hand, but luckily Feng Qingxiu reached out to hold him. Zibao, what are you doing? You were so surprised. You are eating. After eating, you will go to play with brother Xiaoun. Feng Qingxiu straightened the bowl and put the chopsticks into his hand again. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1217. Zibao did not take the chopsticks. Yesterday morning, I told brother Xiaoun that we would go riding a horse today, but I forgot about it. He had a sad little face and his voice was a bit crying. Wow, I have become a bad boy. Mom, Grandpa, and Zibao have become bad boys who never say anything. Feng Qingxiu understood, but she didn't say it didn't matter because of Zibao's young age. Instead, she comforted him and said, you can let Grandpa take you with you later and go to brother Xiaoun to apologize, okay? Grandpa will take care of Zibao. If brother Xiaoun says he forgives you, you will no longer be a bad boy who doesn't keep your promise, but you will still be a good Zibao. Zibao turned around and urged Father Lu, Grandpa, hurry up, let's go find brother Xiaoun after dinner. Grandpa, what delicious food did you bring me? Brother Xiaoun likes to eat peanuts, you bring peanuts yet? I'm sorry, Zibao, Grandpa didn't bring any peanuts, Father Lu said. Before Zibao's face fell, Lu's father continued, but grandpa took some shelled peanuts. You can give some to brother Xiaoun you mentioned, so that he can make enough food and clothing by himself. Zibao's eyes suddenly turned into crescents. Grandpa, how good are you? He was frightened. After dinner, Father Lu and Zibao cleared the table, washed the dishes and chopsticks, and then carried a small half basket of peanuts. Feng Qingxiu put another piece of bacon on top and covered it with a cloth. Patting his eldest son on the head, take grandpa to Uncle Zhao's house. Promise to complete the mission. With a neat military salute, Zibao pulled Lu's father away, while Fubao stepped on his heels and said, Grandpa, brother, wait for me. Zibao looked back at her, aren't you afraid of the sun? Fubao raised the straw hat in his hand, revealing the deep dimples on his cheeks. Okay, come and hold my hand and don't run around. Zibao expressed his admiration to his sister. The two brothers are definitely popular people in the family compound. Anyone who met them looked at Father Lu and felt angry, so he asked, Zibao, who did you go out with? What did you call him? My grandpa, Zibao answered simply and neatly. Father Lu was aware of the other party's good intentions and showed a smile that was still elegant despite the vicissitudes of life. I am Lu Jiang's father, Lu Ziwen. The children in our family often cause trouble to their comrades, right? The other party waved his hands hurriedly. No, no, Zibao is so good. Chiener gave my son a handful of candies. An 89-year-old boy following her showed his teeth at Zibao and said, Zibao, when are the military exercises going to take place? I, Chin Dabao, will always obey orders and be ready to go. Wait for my order, wait for my order. Zibao took his hand out of Father Lu's and waved it in a leadership manner. Seeing this situation, all the adults can show is to smile, look at each other and feel friendly. Father Lu found that after walking half of the family compound, 9 out of the 10 people he met greeted Zibao. After learning his identity, he expressed relief, while the remaining one snorted from his nose with a look on his face. Disgust. Bad guy. After she turned away, Fubao immediately complained to Father Lu, my aunt beat her up. Father Lu asked who it was, but Fubao couldn't answer. 11 Bao came up and said, everyone calls her Lu Zayadai. She is evil. She cursed her brother to death. When my aunt heard about it, she beat her. I kicked her too. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1218. Father Lu remembered it in his heart, and at the same time, a trace of cruelty flashed in his eyes. When he met Tianling today, he asked Tianling privately about Zhuang's situation without telling his son and daughter-in-law. Tianling was not mean-spirited and did not hide it from him. The old man was afraid. If his daughter-in-law hadn't been capable, he wouldn't have been able to see her. A little grandson. If you ask Lu's father what his biggest wish is at present, then it must be that he wants to grow up safely. Lu Zayadai cursed Zhuang like this, how could he not let Father Lu hold a grudge? Several more vicious strategies were running through his mind, and Father Lu heard Fubao shout loudly, Brother Xiaoun, Brother Xiaoun. When I looked up, I saw a young man rushing towards me. He was sitting at the door of his house before. Thinking of what the Guancheng brothers and Lu Tianzi told him after returning home, Father Lu showed a smile on his face. Seeing an old man in his 60s following Zibao Fubao, Zhao Xiaoun hurriedly stopped and almost stopped 2 steps in front of them, without directly throwing Zibao down on the grass. Hello, who are you? Zhao Xiaoun saw some resemblance to Lu Zhang and Zibao between his features, and an idea flashed in his mind, are you Grandpa Lu? I heard Tianzi and Au mentioned you, and I also heard about you yesterday. You've arrived. Yes, I am Zibao's grandfather, and I came specially to accompany Zibao to apologize, Father Lu said with a smile. Apologize? Zhao Xiaoun was confused. He bent down and faced Zibao and said, "What are you apologizing for? Zibao, have you done anything to apologize to me? I can't remember it." Zibao let go of his grandfather and sister's hands, crossed his fingers, and said with a flat mouth, "I'm not riding a big horse with you." As he spoke, he groaned and covered his face. "I'm sorry, brother Xiaoun, I didn't forget you on purpose. I was just so happy to see grandpa that I forgot about you. I didn't mean to keep my word of." Zhao Xiaoun suddenly realized it and laughed. "It's okay, Zibao. I know your grandpa is here, so I didn't see you today. I know you must be at home with grandpa. I didn't go horseback riding. The arrival of family members is definitely the most important thing. Secondly, if Zhao Xiaoun is given a choice, he will definitely choose to break his promise. Of course, he is an adult, and he will explain the reason to his dating friends and apologize." Now hearing Zibao's words, Zhao Xiaoun knew that Zibao did not break the appointment intentionally, but he was young and his memory was not as good as adults, so he broke the appointment without having time to explain the reason to himself. "It's understandable," Zhao Xiaoun felt. "Is it really okay? Brother Xiaoun," a muffled voice came from under Zibao's fingers. Zhao Xiaoun grinned and said, "Of course it doesn't matter. I'm not angry. Zibao, didn't you come to apologize? I accept it. Brother Xiaoun, you are such a good brother Xiaoun." Zibao let go of his hand without a single tear on his face. Before Zhao Xiaoun opened his eyes wide, he took the basket from Father Lu's hand and handed it to Zhao Xiaoun with both hands. "It's just a matter of time. A small gift is not a sign of respect." Zhao Xiaoun said amusingly, "Zibao, who did you learn this from? I can't even understand it." Zibao raised his face and said, "Brother Xiaoun, catch it quickly, my hands are sore." Zhao Xiaoun quickly took it, "So this is your apology to me?" "Yeah," Zibao nodded heavily, "then will you forgive me?" "Brother Xiaoun, I don't want to be a bad boy." Zhao Xiaoun understood and said hurriedly, "Of course, even if Zibao doesn't give me anything and Zibao comes to apologize to me, I will forgive Zibao, because Zibao is a good Zibao." Somehow, the tone of voice sounds more and more like Zibao. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1219. Father Lu pursed his lips and smiled. No wonder his grandchildren liked him. He was indeed lovable. Zhao Xiaoun lifted the cloth on the basket and took a look, then put it back immediately. He looked around and breathed a sigh of relief when he saw no one else around. "Grandpa Lu, you are too polite. I brought it from my hometown." "Zibao said you liked it," Father Lu said. "I brought it back to my grandpa. My grandpa loves peanuts the most." Zhao Xiaoun was very happy. "Thank you Grandpa Lu for your hard work. I like it very much, I really like it." "But brother, you didn't invite us to sit in the house." Fu Bao raised a tender accusation. Zhao Xiaoun turned sideways and pointed at the lock on the door. "Well, it's not that I'm rude, it's that he's rude. After dinner in the morning, I went out to wander around and practice shooting. When I got home, I remembered that I forgot to bring my keys and I didn't even have lunch. Eat, because I don't have any money or tickets with me, and it's already too late to go to the cafeteria." Zibao said enthusiastically, "Go to my house, I have food to eat." "That's right, you're so stupid." Fu Bao showed a look of disgust and stretched out his hand towards him. "Let's go home for dinner." "Let's go, it won't feel good to be hungry." Father Lu also invited him. Zhao Xiaoun thought about the relationship between his family and the Luzhang family. His father even owed him a life-saving favor and didn't care about another meal. Zhao Xiaoun, who was very thoughtful, happily carried the basket and left with them. When the Guancheng brothers were around, Zhao Xiaoyun often ate at the Lu family. When she heard that he hadn't eaten, Feng Qingxiu hurriedly called Tianling, "Heat up the bacon left over from lunch. There's some steamed rice left. You can beat an egg, stir-fry with chopped green onions." She had dietary restrictions during breastfeeding and did not eat very salty foods, so there was a lot of bacon left. Zhao Xiaoyun ate happily, and Fu Bao joined in the fun and ate a few bites of fried rice. After hearing Zhao Xiaoyun say that he would return to the southwest military region in a few days, and remembering that Zhao Hanzi liked to eat peanuts, wondering if it was passed down from the Zhao family, Feng Qingxiu said, "I still have some at home, I will pack some for you." "No, no, this is enough, it's several kilograms." Zhao Xiaoyun weighed the basket and knew that the contents were 5 or 6 kilograms. "When we mothers are in the capital military region, we should be less under the care of your grandfather. If you are asked to carry something, you can carry it with you." "Why are you so long-winded?" Feng Qingxiu said as she put a few more kilograms of peanuts into the basket. "If it takes up space, just peel the shells and just bring the peanuts back, fry them or boil them, they are a good snack." Zhao Xiaoyun nodded heavily, "Thank you, Aunt Lu." When he came back in the evening, he saw a basket of things, 6 or 7 kilograms of peanuts, a strip of bacon and a dried chicken. Zhao Yang said habitually, "Take them all back, add vegetables to your grandparents, and tell your brother not to be naughty." "In these years, we have not found favor with the Zhangzibao family," Guo Xiuying lamented. "Our family is not short of money, but it is short of oil and water. When you have free time, buy some milk powder or something for your child to send over." "I know, you don't need to tell me. There have been many babies born in the family compound in the past 2 years, and milk powder has been in short supply. After all, our army didn't have these products before. Xiaoyun, go back and tell your grandparents if there is a way to get milk powder. If you want, I'll get some and send them over. It's a heavy burden for 2 of the Lu family triplets to drink milk powder." "Don't worry, my mom, why don't you worry about me handling your son's affairs?" Zhao Xiaoyun patted his chest to reassure him. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1220. Zhao Xiaoyun is scheduled to set off in 2 days. He will first take a bus to Huihai City and then transfer to the southeast. His grandma has already returned to the southwest military region from her hometown, so he does not need to get off the bus at his hometown. After learning the news, when Lu Zhang came back in the evening, Lu's father had no time to take revenge on Lu Zayadai, so he said to Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu, "Tell Xiaoyun tomorrow that Zibao and I will get in the car with him, so as not to worry about it. Please help your troops drive us to the train twice." So fast, Feng Qingxiu was caught off guard. Father Lu said in a low voice, "Your third grandpa is not in good spirits, so he keeps talking about Zibao, saying that after you left last year, God didn't give us good grace. Although the autumn harvest is not bad, it is just enough the rations are being distributed, but the grain reserves are almost gone. The summer harvest is about to begin in a few months. Your third grandfather is worried that God will be angry and insist on asking me to pick up Zibao, just like last summer. He is worried about the harvest period. Rains reduce crop yields." Feng Qingxiu said helplessly, "Dad, it really has nothing to do with Zibao. God's relationship with him is not that good. Not that good. Not that good. Why did you give Zibao's little clothes and swaddles to Zhuang to wear, while Dun Dun and Xiong sometimes wear new ones, sometimes Fubao's, but not Zibao's?" Father Lu pointing out the obvious differences between the triplets, he frowned when he mentioned Xiong's nickname. "I remember we named Xiong, a heroic Xiong, a mighty Xiong. Xiong sounds so ugly, how did you pick this one? 2 words. There are obviously many nice nicknames." Feng Qingxiu coughed and looked at the roof. It's just a nickname, what does it matter if it sounds good or not? I almost named him Cai Bao, Lu Zhang finished speaking plausibly, and then asked, how is third grandpa doing? What does Guancheng say? I'm getting older. As you all know, my energy will definitely be gone. Before I came here, I gave them some rice and flour for the elderly to cook alone. Grandpa Lu San's family, Ding Xinguang, converts fine grains into coarse grains every year. In this way, a small farmer family dared not eat twice a day during their leisure time, and naturally there was no fine food in the house. Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu sighed after hearing this. They say that Zibao has a good life and good luck. Dad, please take Zibao home so that third grandpa can have some luck and prolong his life. If third grandpa is really well, don't let him forget Zibao. After saying this, Feng Qingxiu was still reluctant to let go. When the triplets are older and Zhuang is well, let Aiken come take us home and stay for a while. She is retired now and does not need to stay in the army every day. Father Lu smiled and said, when you go back, the house will be lively. When I came, many people asked me to see what the triplets are like for them, and tell them when I go back. Our Wanglu brigade has not done anything for 100 years. There were triplets. There are twins. Wang Zhenqiu's youngest son gave birth to twin granddaughters, both of whom are 3 years old this year. But how can twins compare to triplets? The number alone is one less. It's just that Zhuang's health is so bad. Seeing Zhuang like this, Father Lu sometimes thinks that he is not as good as the twins. At least he is much healthier physically. He is not as good as Zhuang. He really doesn't even dare to let the wind blow him. The swaddling clothes, diapers were all Zibao's old things, and Feng Qingxiu's thoughts were just as Father Lu had guessed. She hoped that Zibao's luck would indeed bless Zhuang as the blind man said.